We got another game coming up. She Dreams Elsewhere. Davionne Gooden. So let's check out the trailer and then have a great conversation. That was the amazing trailer for She Dreams Elsewhere, now available on Steam. We got Davionne on the line. We're going to play the game a little bit and have a nice conversation. What's up, Davionne?
Yeah, hey, what's good? What's good?
It's good, man.
You know, everything's on fire, but, you know, we're hanging in there.
We're making, we're making things happen. Thanks for hopping on.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the game is gorgeous, and I didn't even realize, you know, again, I don't want to keep bringing the same thing up, but that you were a black dude, you know what I mean? And it's cool to see that representation, you know, especially for a game that's like has basically caught on fire itself, like as far as like it's getting a lot of traction and people are digging it. It's got a really cool feel and vibe. I'm personally a big RPG fan, you know, myself. So how did you get into game development?
Started actually my 10-year anniversary for all that stuff.
Wow.
And I'm also, like, compared to like a lot of people here, like I'm kind of a young head. I'm 22, so I started this when I was in like 5th grade, messed around on like RPG Maker. Had no clue what I was doing, and kind of still don't. But just kind of kept making games. And when I was in high school, I was like, you know, maybe I can like actually kind of make a career out of this. You know, like actually sell my stuff. So I had some attempts at that. They all failed. They were just really bad projects, and didn't even put them out. But then I started She Dreams Elsewhere senior year of high school.
Oh, nice.
And then I almost got canned too, because it's like it was at the development cycle of like, this is great, this is a cool game, but I got this other idea that I'm excited about, so let me hop on that real quick. But eventually, like, this, I thought about this concept, was like, it was too good to just let go like that. So here we are now, 5 years working on this, just going insane.
That's crazy. Wait, you're 22 now?
Yeah.
Okay, man, that's awesome. So can you tell us about the plot of, you know, She Dreams Elsewhere, and how you kind of came about this concept?
Yeah. So basic concept is that you're playing a Stalia and you're in a coma. You gotta find out like how you got in a coma, find a way to wake up, confront your own inner nightmares, and just have like this horrible, trippy experience the entire way. So I've always just like loved like dreams and the whole just surrealism in general. And I think it's like a really good avenue to just explore like all types of like emotional and like psychological stuff. So a lot of it's just kind of based on like my own dreams and like personal experiences, just dealing with like anxiety, depression, like, you know, all that fun stuff.
And so you did everything for this game total?
Mostly everything. So I have my composer Mimi Page, who's absolutely amazing. And I have my character designer Yanina. She's also just does like key art and like the actual like full body artwork. Beyond that, it's just been me again going insane for far too long.
Totally understand that. This is really dope. Super dope.
It's so weird like watching this because like it's like improved like so much like since I put the demo out there and like everything that I've changed. So
where can we find the game? I know obviously it's on Steam. Is this on the Switch, or are you're in the process of porting?
Yeah, so it's still in development. It's going to be on Steam, PC, Mac, Linux, Xbox One, through Game Pass too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then like, yeah. So then there might be some more stuff coming up soon, you know. So stay tuned.
For sure. So you are, when you were developing this, were you doing it as you're going to college, or you're this is your passion project? You're like, I'm just going to focus on this for right now.
Yeah. So I started this senior year of high school. Took a break when I was like moving to college, and then I went to DePaul for a semester, and I did one for film, and I quickly realized that I hate college. So I was like, you know, this is fun, this is great, but deuces. So came back home, and I've just been working on this full time ever since then.
That's cool. That's cool to jump into your passion. Where are you at? Where are you located? Just curious.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I mentioned I'm from Columbus. I remember, yeah.
Hey, Ohio
awesome.
squad.
Yeah, I know, right? O State. So you're there right now.
Yeah.
Cool. And you go to multiple conferences to showcase the game. What was your how was your experience like showing the game and communicating with publishers and that sort of thing? I think a lot of folks looking at this are like, how do I get my game out there? How do I get it funded or marketed if I'm like nose to the grindstone working on this project?
Yeah, it's been crazy. So basically I started kind of showcasing it around just like online, like Reddit, Twitter, just little stuff. My first conference was GDEX in Columbus. And that was September of 2018. And ever since then, kind of like started going to like more conferences, bigger conferences. But the biggest turning point was when I got to GDC through the Indie Mega Booth. Shout out them. And yeah, like once I went there, it was just like a whirlwind of like connections, like meeting like great new people, like porting companies, potential publishers, all that stuff. But yeah, it's just really just about like just getting the word out like as much as possible, like in any way that you can. And yeah, just basically just trying your best as much as possible and hoping that like it's good enough.
Yeah. I remember, kind of jumping on that train early on, and it was like a nerve-wracking experience just trying to communicate with everyone and talk about my game and sell it, and that kind of, I don't want to like project, but the imposter syndrome, sometimes it comes with it, and you're talking about the anxiety and all that stuff that comes along with the development process. How have you been, because 5 years is a long time to be working on something, which
you're telling me
totally relate, because you have to do that, especially if you're going out on your own. How has that process been, from concept to you getting a nice amount of work done to sharing the game?
It's very exhausting. I don't get any sleep, so I should probably work on that. But it's weird because like I have like just a lot of anxiety like in general, and like whenever like I just put myself out there, I'm just like, oh my god, like I just want to go to bed. Like, why am I here?
Yeah. For sure.
But like I've gotten better at just like dealing with it like as years have gone by, and I've also like done theater in the past, which like helps when it comes to like just projecting yourself and putting yourself out there. But every now and then you kind of just need a break, just social media detox, get my Switch, read a book, just do something else.
Yeah, for
sure. And like ultimately just like kind of keep your head down, just like keep doing you.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So when is the release date? I'm just curious.
This year, that trailer said
Okay.
come in 2019. That was a bamboozle. That did not happen. But yeah, stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Cool.
Super dope, man.
How did you so
No.
so Whitethorn Digital? You ended up working with that team for publishing, correct?
For porting.
For porting. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you working with a publisher right now? I'm just curious too.
Right now, I'm just self-publishing.
That's the way to go. That's super awesome.
I'm trying.
Yeah, how did you come up with the kind of monochromatic art style for the game?
That was actually a fun little Photoshop error. When I first started working on it, it was in this full, like, colorful, like, Earthbound style. And I was making, like, character sprite, and I pressed the wrong button, and it turned everything black and white. And I was like, that's pretty wrong, but, like, that kind of goes hard. I gotta make this now. Like,
Yeah. It's
so yeah,
interesting.
just kind of kept developing it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting seeing the blues and then how you switch to different colors in different areas of the game. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, like I said, like I'm all about like the whole surreal, like psychedelic, like aspect of like anything. So it just fit in perfectly with the vibe I was going for.
What were some of your inspirations for making the game?
Oh, bro, we could be here all day, but so game-wise, stuff like Persona, Kingdom Hearts, Earthbound, Yume Nikki. And I take a lot of inspiration from like other just mediums and like films and stuff, because I'm also like filmmaker too.
Yeah.
Stuff like Waking Life, Clerks. I love Seinfeld in Atlanta, like just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you incorporate some of that stuff? I know you talked about the psychedelic nature of it. I see the effects when you're going through various areas, which I was like, wow, this is trippy. That I played it for the first time a few days ago, and so like, what can you like name a couple scenes that like kind of that you've incorporated in this in the game?
As far as like inspiration wise,
Yeah, inspiration wise.
so it's like actually this opening scene. So I'm a big fan of Satoshi Kon, and in this film Perfect Blue, there's like in that opening there's like a scene where it's like there's that the flat like the juxtaposition between like the main character like her idol like life, and then it's like her just like in her room, just kind of like her like in like her normal self. And like, there's just so many like little details like scattered about that scene, and like it's all like unspoken.
Yeah.
So just like putting like those little details, kind of like fleshing out like who Dahlia is, like what her daily life is like what is she going through. So just like stuff like that. Like I just love like the little details of things.
How have you found it, as a developer of color maneuvering through the space? Like, has it, you know what I mean? Like, have you connected with other developers of color as well?
Yeah, it's so weird because like I'll be going to like a convention and stuff like that, and I meet a lot of really great people, but like there's always like I play like a little game whenever I'm walking. I'm like count the black people, and usually that number is very very low. But when you do see someone and like it's like a fellow like developer of color, it's like hey like what's good like it's always just like just dope like seeing that. And people have been really supportive, like, fellow allies, just like coming out, supporting the game, giving feedback. So that's been great. But then like other times, like you'll get online and like you see like the toxic like gamer culture kind of come out, where it's like, this game's too political. She's black. Keep politics out of my games. Like that type of stuff. So it's
Yeah. I mean, that's so real though. Like the conversation that we're having, it's like we're not making this shit up. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The counting the black people in the room, I think it's something that a lot of like black developers do, subconsciously, or just, and we don't express it to anyone else, besides ourselves in these kind of moments. So it's interesting to kind of know that, because we don't always get to connect in that way. And I think it is, like you were saying, allies or other game developers, I think it's important to know what we're all feeling and how we interact with everyone and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and like I was at the Game Devs of Color Expo last year. Shout out to all the organizers there. And that was really great because like it really was just like you felt like amongst your people there, and like it's like to this day like one of my favorite conventions that I've been to. It's like it was so dope like having like that like same vibe, and like everybody's like on the same wavelength, and yeah, it was so inspiring.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us about the combat. First of all, the music and composition is sick. Like it has you amped up every time.
Yeah, shout out Mimi for that. She did a banger of a job. But yeah, so basic battle system takes a lot from both Persona and Final Fantasy X. If you have like your standard like skills, like attack, skills, limits, all that stuff. If you hit an enemy's weak point, you can stun them for a turn. If you hit all enemies at once, you can perform a link attack, which is kind of like, it works a lot like Persona's like all-out attacks. Hit them all for massive damage, just wreck them all up. So yeah, it's all about just like kind of getting through battles as efficiently as possible. Because I've kind of realized that like a lot of RPG players, like they love the combat, but like to a certain extent, like they don't want to be like, I mean it depends on the game, but like they don't want to be like kind of doing the same thing over and over again for like a super long amount of time. And at least I don't, so I prefer simple mechanics more than anything else, and just kind of getting through battles like as fast as possible in like the most efficient way.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the tactics and just the way everything looks, the UI and the experience it feels really good and natural. I imagine it took a while to get to that place where you're like, oh my god, everything is efficient, it's flowing, and people feel like they're getting into the game and hitting the meat of it right away. Yeah,
like when I first put in like the circle UI, I was like, oh, this is it. Got it. Before that, it was that wasn't fun, but we made it work.
That's super cool. So She Dreams Elsewhere, early access on Steam. It's going to be releasing worldwide on pretty much every console that's going to be out.
One of these days.
One of these days, which is an amazing feat, by the way. You could check it out on the Guerrilla Collective right now. I believe you could purchase it there and check it out on Steam. Thank you so much, Davionne.
This is an amazing game. I'm definitely picking it up on Steam, brother.
Thank y'all. Like, thanks for like just putting us out there and just doing everything you do. Like, it means a lot.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta like shout out to the Game Devs of Color too. I forgot to mention, and I just talked to Sean earlier. We're trying to figure out a way to coordinate because they have something going on today too, which is it's awesome. The more the merrier for sure. But yeah, we definitely should connect more, share more about She Dreams Elsewhere, and just keep hustling.
Hey, we're trying out here, man. We're trying our best.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, man.
Hey, peace, y'all.